Quisiera saber si tiene la estimación del número de antivirales que se necesitan en la región, en los países subdesarrollados para contener la propagación del virus. Y la misma pregunta le haría para el caso de las vacunas. ¿Y de dónde van a salir esos antivirales y esas vacunas para los países que no pueden pagarla? ¿Qué medida de presión ha estimado que puede hacer la comunidad internacional a través de la OMC, tanto para los países ricos o para los laboratorios, para donaciones o alguna medida para poder proveer de tanto antivirales como vacunas a los países pobres?
Thank you very much for that question. You have two parts to that question. The first one is antiviral. Second one is on pandemic influenza vaccine. Now, as you well know, WHO has received 5 million doses of Tamiflu from Roche, and we have disseminated that to 121 countries. And these are, LCD and developing countries. We have been, told by Roche they will replenish another stockpile in the order of 5.6 million doses. Upon receipt of those Tamiflu, that include also pediatric formulation, WHO will continue to disseminate them to developing countries so that they would have a stockpile for use in dealing with treatment of cases. It is also important now, we are discussing with donors, and we would like to get support to buy an additional smaller amount for countries so that they have antivirals on hand to deal with the situation in their country in the months to come. On the issue of vaccine, as you well understand, at this point in time, no country has pandemic influenza vaccine. So this is truly equitable. Now, as we move ahead, much work is ongoing now, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank governments, particularly the US, for commissioning a lot of important studies. We need to understand whether or not the pandemic H1N1 influenza vaccine is safe and effective, and whether or not a substance called adjuvant can be used to spare the antigen so that we can have a bigger volume of vaccine for the world. These are important scientific gaps that we don't have clear knowledge now. So it is important that these work are done, and we hope that we would be able to have those information as and when they become available. They are important in helping us to make decisions based on science and evidence as we move forward. Now, on the access to pandemic vaccine by developing country, WHO has received a total of commitment now by 2 vaccine companies totaling 150 million doses. On receipt of those vaccines, we will send them to developing countries. And indeed, that is not sufficient. We are also mobilizing resources, myself and the Secretary General himself, to get resources to buy vaccines at tier pricing, affordable cost for developing countries. So those are the things that we are working now, okay? As I have mentioned in my address at the opening ceremony, it is really a big challenge for ministers of health and as well as for WHO in our risk communication to find the right balance, not to arouse unnecessary panic, and yet, make sure that people do not have a sense of complacency and do not pay attention to this disease. It is easier said than done. But I think the 3 countries sitting around this table has learned to do it well. We have learned from previous experience. With any new disease, at the early days, there may be some confusion. But, people, we should not underestimate the resilience of the general public. Very quickly, they can make that adjustment, and they know how to handle the situation. But the fundamental principle is governments have to be honest, transparent, and provide information in a timely manner so that the general public understand what, at the individual level, family level, and the community level, what are some of the things they can do to protect themselves. Because this is not a job that can be done only by the government. The people, the public, the academics, the scientists must rally around the government and to rise above the challenge. That is our experience. So I also would like to take this opportunity to appeal to the media community. You do have an important task. You are a very valuable partner for us. We rely on you to get the right information out. Wrong information will create overreaction, but right information will find the right balance. Thank you. WHO, since end of April, have been in regular contact with the vaccine companies. I know that the timeline is different for different companies. For example, there is a company that does not make seasonal vaccine, so they move ahead and make the H1N1 vaccine on their own as a business decision. Others are still finishing their seasonal influenza production and then move over. Most of these companies will finish their current seasonal influenza production for the next winter by end of July and be ready to move over. Now that's a long way to explain the timeline, but the earliest we expect to see would be perhaps as early as August, and some will be ready in October, November, but that is only availability of vaccine. But the fundamental question we need to ask, what are the clinical trial results of these vaccines? We want to know that they are safe, they are effective, because at this point in time, the disease is mild. You need to balance the risk and the trade-off of putting a vaccine into people's arms without knowing with a degree of certainty its safety and effectiveness. So those are the things we need to continue to work with countries who have commissioned clinical trials, as in the case of USA, and also with countries in Europe that are doing similar thing, and also with the vaccine company. So vaccines are available, but the recommendation to use it has to be based on science, which may come later.
Bueno, referente a la situación regional, nosotros, como ustedes saben, tenemos alrededor de 60.000 personas reportadas en toda la región, ¿verdad? Incluyendo el norte, centro, Sudamérica y el Caribe, y alrededor de 320 muertes, de las cuales pues, la mayoría están concentradas en los países, en los 3 países del norte que comenzaron con la pandemia, y luego en los países del sur, como usted mencionó. En este momento, y ya había sido una de las alertas tempranas de la doctora Chan, teníamos que vigilar atentamente qué iba a pasar con este virus cuando llegara a los países del sur, sobre todo en la temporada invernal y con las características de la influenza estacional, que siempre es motivo de preocupación en el sur, y también porque tenemos el virus sincicial respiratorio, que poco se habla, pero que es causa de mucha muerte en los niños en los países del sur, y también tiene su presencia en los países de Centroamérica. En este momento yo le podría decir que en Chile ha habido un trabajo muy intenso, en todos los países en general, porque desde el año 2004 los planes de preparación han sido muy intensos y todos los países tenían la capacidad y trabajaban en red, incluyendo las redes de laboratorio, lo que permitió, ¿verdad?, que apenas Canadá y Estados Unidos identificaran el virus se instalara la capacidad, o sea, hay una buena capacidad de respuesta. Creo que una de las situaciones desafortunadas en Argentina ha sido una combinación, un cóctel que no recomendamos los epidemiólogos, que es que se mezclen las pandemias con los procesos electorales. porque realmente, como ustedes han notado, países descentralizados, ¿verdad? Sentimientos de la población, comunicación de riesgo, son elementos muy difíciles de manejar cuando además están en procesos electorales intensos, inclusive por la ocupación de los medios, etcétera, con otras noticias. Y creemos que ahora en este momento, pues postelectoral, la situación en la Argentina se está estructurando muy fuertemente, tenemos un apoyo, a igual que hemos hecho con México y otros países, ya hay un equipo a partir del lunes trabajando con el nuevo ministro de casi 25 personas movilizadas de todos los países de la región, incluyendo el apoyo que siempre tenemos del personal de CDC, lo que llamamos el GORN, que es el Grupo de Alerta y Respuesta a los Brotes Mundial. La región está bastante bien cubierta con antirretrovirales, con equipos de diagnóstico y con equipos de protección personal, porque habíamos hecho una reserva estratégica, recibimos un refuerzo de la reserva estratégica de OMS, y con la donación que acaba de mencionar la secretaria de Salud, Sebelius, tenemos aproximadamente en total, desde que empezó la pandemia, casi 1 millón de tratamientos en el depósito que tenemos en Panamá, de los cuales se distribuyeron inmediatamente 300.000, contando con los de la OMS, y estamos ahora en proceso de distribuir la segunda parte, que son alrededor de 600.000, contando esta donación de Estados Unidos. De modo que, bien utilizados para los casos que lo indican y los protocolos que tenemos, creemos que la región está bien protegida, porque, por supuesto, muchísimos países tienen su propia reserva comprada y activa, incluyendo los países más grandes y los países con mayor capacidad presupuestaria. De todas maneras, la equidad es absoluta, es decir, todos los 41 países y territorios, incluyendo los territorios franceses, holandeses, ingleses, están cubiertos en conexión, en teleconferencia permanente y con toda la capacidad para responder.
On the first question about the vaccine, what percentage of the vaccine can you give to the developing country? This is a dialogue which is still ongoing with the vaccine companies. But some vaccine companies have pledged to give 10% of their production capacity in real time to WHO, either by donation or by purchase at affordable price, so that we can send them to developing countries. And of course, you know, this dialogue will continue, and I hope more vaccine companies will come forward. But it is important to note that vaccine companies in the developed world, as well as the developing world, are making the same pledge or similar pledge in solidarity. I would like to make one important point. WHO in the last few years, with the support again from USA, Japan, and the EU countries, give us some money so that we can help developing countries through North-South and South-South technology transfer to help them to build their own vaccine production capacity. Thailand is one of those countries that was receiving support from us, and they would be ready very soon to start their pilot lot vaccine production. A total of 11 countries has been supported by the World Health Organization in this technology transfer endeavor. Now, why is it so important? Because at the end of the day, availability of vaccine depends on the production capacity for seasonal influenza vaccine. About 3 to 4 years ago, the world's total production capacity is in the order of about 450 million doses. With the support of development partners in many countries, they have invested in building additional vaccine manufacturing facilities. Now the world has a total production capacity of 900 million doses of trivalent vaccine. Now, for pandemic vaccine, it is normally a monovalent vaccine. So immediately, the production capacity is 3 times. So 900 times 3. If we are able to substantiate the safety of a chemical compound called adjuvant, that again can immediately increase the manufacturing capacity by 2 to 3 times. So there is a lot of things that needs to be done in the next few months to find the best formulation to enable the maximum number of dosages that can be produced. But that is under the ideal condition. I don't want you to say that, you know, Dr. Chen said that on the 2nd of July in Cancun, and then 2 months later you come back and say that, oh, you didn't tell us the truth. But that is the best case scenario. But many of this depends on how many doses of vaccine is required, how big the amount of antigen needs to be put into a vaccine, and fundamentally, how well is the virus growing. If the virus is not in a good yield, that will substantially reduce the amount of vaccines available. So I'm sorry that I don't have an immediate answer for you, but these are important scientific questions that we need to ask, and we want to get the answers as soon as possible. And the only thing I can commit is to provide information to all my member states and to the general public as and when they become available. Thank you.
Nosotros tenemos, por supuesto, las recomendaciones mundiales acordadas por todos los países, establecidas en el Reglamento Sanitario Internacional, y vemos con preocupación que se haya utilizado a veces algunas medidas. Sabemos que hay que tener una flexibilidad de acuerdo a las situaciones en cada país, pero que tienen que estar justificadas y que de acuerdo con las normas del Reglamento Sanitario, y la Organización Mundial de la Salud lo ha estado solicitando en cada caso, y nosotros en cada caso en la región, por supuesto, cuando se toman medidas que no son las recomendadas. Y hemos sido bastante fuertes, digamos, en acompañar a los países a establecer con base racional y científica las medidas que se toman. En los últimos días hemos visto con preocupación dos tipos de medidas. Por un lado, recomendaciones con respecto a viajes. En el caso del último anuncio que lo hizo Brasil, ¿verdad?, y que generó algunas preocupaciones en sus vecinos, sobre todo por la época de vacaciones, posteriormente el gobierno de Brasil aclaró y mejoró el mensaje de que estaba dirigido a su propia población que está en situación de riesgo, y que enumeró aquellos casos, por ejemplo, que están con tratamientos de enfermedades crónicas que realmente no puedan quizás tener ese mismo tratamiento o seguir el mismo protocolo en los otros países, que meditaran y pensaran bien la posibilidad de postergar esos viajes que no son de urgencia, que son viajes la mayoría recreacionales. En el caso de las exportaciones de productos de cerdo y también de cerdos en pie, que ha habido algunas también tensiones o rumores de que se estarían afectando exportaciones de los países de la región, también estamos solicitando a aquellos países que han emitido estas declaraciones que reanalicen qué base científica o justificación tienen para esto, porque no la hay.